Before our journey unfolds, let us pause for a simple request. If these words stir something in your heart, if the beauty of distant lands and the wonder of nature call to you, do not hesitate to press that like button. Share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Your support is the wind that carries this story further, so it may touch the souls of others who, like you, are drawn to the poetry of life. In the heart of Vietnam, nestled among layers of mountains, clouds, and forests, lies a city that seems less like a destination and more like a dream gently draped upon the earth. Dalat, the jewel of the Central Highlands, is not merely a place to visit. It is a living canvas, painted with mist, pine trees, lakes, and flowers, whispering to every traveler who dares to enter its winding roads. The city awakens under a thin veil of fog when the morning sun first spills across this land. That fog does not conceal, it reveals. The outlines of small villas emerge like strokes of watercolor. The pine trees stretch their arms skyward, solemn yet tender, as though they were ancient guardians of secrets that only silence can preserve. To walk through Dalat at dawn is to walk inside a poem where each breath is laced with the scent of resin and dew, each step carrying the weight of stillness and anticipation. But Dalat is not just scenery. It is emotion embodied. It is the warmth of laughter echoing through valleys, the quietness of lakes reflecting a sky unsure whether it wants to rain or shine, and the gentle hum of life unhurried by the chaos of modern times. It teaches travelers that beauty is not always in grandeur. Sometimes, it is hidden in the soft curve of a hill, the reflection of a flower on still water, or the fragile smile of a local vendor offering a basket of strawberries. Let your imagination place you upon the gentle slope of Zon Hong Lake. The water is calm, almost unmoving, but it carries a universe of shifting light and shadow within it. Swans glide quietly across its surface, their ripples stretching outward like time was expanding. Around the lake, couples stroll, hand in hand, each step echoing the rhythm of affection and serenity. This lake is not only a geographical feature, it is a mirror to the heart. A reminder that tranquility is always within reach if one can pause. Move from the lake toward the Valley of Love, and you will sense a change in scenery and atmosphere. Here, flowers burst forth in riotous colors: roses, orchids, hydrangeas, each a verse in the endless love letter this land writes to humanity. Paths curve gently around gardens, leading to quiet spots where time seems reluctant to move forward. Lovers come here not only to see but to feel. They leave with photographs, yes, but also with a sense that perhaps love, like the flowers of Dalat, can thrive even in thin mountain air, nourished by mist and memory. Beyond the gardens, the hills rise again, drawing the traveler toward the silent company of pine forests. Stand within them, and you will understand the essence of this land. The air carries the faint aroma of sap, mingled with the earthy breath of soil and fallen needles. Sunlight filters down in thin golden ribbons, painting shifting mosaics upon the ground. Silence here is not empty, it is full. It is the silence of things that endure, have witnessed centuries pass, and know patience better than any human could. When you walk among these trees, it is as though they are listening, nodding quietly at your presence, reminding you that you, too, are part of this excellent continuity. Yet Dalat is not only stillness. Follow the sound of water, and you will arrive at the cascading thunder of Dalat Waterfall. The river plunges down rocky cliffs with a ferocity that contrasts starkly with the calmness of the forests. Here is nature's voice, no longer a whisper, but a declaration, powerful, unstoppable, eternal. Watching the water crash and churn, you realize that beauty is not always gentle. Sometimes, it is raw, untamed, a force that reminds you of your fragility and resilience. It awakens something primal in the soul, recognizing that life is a river that never ceases, no matter the obstacles. As the day stretches forward, the markets of Dalat come alive. The Central Market is not merely a place of trade, it is a festival of color, scent, and human connection. Fresh flowers spill out of baskets in vivid hues that seem to glow. Strawberries, plucked that very morning, gleam like rubies under the sun. Vendors call out cheerfully, offering sweet jams, rich avocados, and fragrant coffee beans. Here, you taste Dalat with more than your tongue. You taste it with your heart. Every product carries the labor of hands that have tilled the earth. Harvested in cold dawns, and cherished the land that sustains them. And when the afternoon light softens into evening, the city transforms again. Mist creeps in from the hills, cloaking streets in silver. Lamps flicker on one by one, casting a golden glow across cobbled roads. A hush falls over the city, not from the absence of sound but from the presence of calm. Dalat in twilight is like a secret whispered only to those willing to listen closely. It is not grand or loud, it is intimate. It offers itself in fragments: the crackle of firewood from a small roadside cafe, the taste of warm corn roasted over coals, the smile of strangers who seem, for a moment, like old friends. In Dalat, time bends. Hours stretch like silk threads, pulling you into a foreign and familiar rhythm. You begin to understand that travel is not only about discovering new places, it is about rediscovering yourself. In the gentle embrace of this city, your worries lose their sharpness. Your pace slows, your breath deepens. Dalat teaches without speaking, reminding you that perhaps the most incredible journey is not across land, but within the soul. This is only the beginning of our exploration, a doorway into the poetry of Dalat. The city still has more to reveal: its festivals, hidden lakes, and mysteries cloaked in fog and silence. And as we step further into its embrace, the story will continue to unfold like the petals of an eternal flower. When morning fully arrives in Dalat, the mist does not vanish at once, it lingers, drifting gently across hillsides like a veil reluctant to leave a bride's face. It is in this hesitation that Dalat reveals its most intimate beauty. Each ray of sunlight does not pierce the fog but caresses it, blending into a soft glow that wraps the city in a tender embrace. This is when the traveler begins to understand: Dalat is not a place to be rushed. It is a place to surrender, to let time unfold at the pace of flowers blooming and clouds drifting. On the slopes of Langbiang Mountain, the city lies beneath like a jewel cradled in the palms of the highlands. The view stretches endlessly from that summit, valleys quilted with fields, lakes gleaming like polished mirrors, and roofs scattered in colors resembling an artist's palette spilled upon the earth. Yet more than the sight itself, what lingers in the heart is the wind. It rushes past, carrying the scent of pine, the coolness of clouds, and a reminder of freedom. Standing there, suspended between earth and sky, you sense the land's beauty and your longing to be limitless. Descending from Langbiang, the path carries you toward fields of flowers that burst forth with such abundance they seem almost unreal. Hydrangeas spread across valleys like a sea of blue and violet, their round blossoms glowing under the sunlight. Roses climb trellises, opening like crimson secrets whispered to the air. Orchids, fragile yet daring, dangle from branches, their colors so rare they feel like jewels gifted by the forest itself. To walk among these flowers is to be immersed in a dream where every petal is delicate and eternal. A fleeting moment captured in the permanence of memory. Yet Dalat's beauty does not remain in open fields alone. Venture into the Dream Hill Gardens and discover a realm crafted by nature and imagination. Sculptures carved from wood and stone stand quietly among blossoms, as though myth and reality mingled in plain sight. Bridges curve gracefully over streams, inviting you to linger, pause, and consider the stories hidden within their arches. The gardens here are not mere decoration. They are dialogues between human creativity and the earth's quiet generosity. Each step whispers of harmony, of the possibility that human hands can shape beauty without wounding the land. But Dalat is not always stillness and romance. Its rivers carve paths with strength, and its waterfalls sing with thunderous and tender voices. Pongour Waterfall, often called the Queen of Waterfalls, cascades in wide tiers, spreading its waters like a shimmering veil across the rocks. To stand before it is to stand before majesty, to feel the spray kiss your skin, to hear the roaring hymn that drowns out all trivial thoughts. Nearby, Elephant Waterfall crashes with raw power, its waters plunging as though impatient with the patience of time. The rocks below have worn smoothly for centuries, a testament that persistence shapes even the hardest stone. Before such scenes, the human soul trembles, not in fear but in reverence. Beyond the thunder of water, the soft murmur of lakes calls once again. Tuyen Lam Lake lies calm and vast, embraced by pine forests. From its surface, reflections shimmer, mountains inverted, clouds stretched, birds gliding low across the water. A boat glides silently, carrying travelers into the lake's secret corners, where silence is broken only by the dip of an oar or the cry of a distant heron. Here, peace is not imagined, it is tangible. It sinks into your bones, slows your breath, and teaches you that silence is not emptiness but fullness in disguise. Truk Lam Zen Monastery rests on the lake's shores, a sanctuary of contemplation and stillness. Its gates open into gardens where stone paths wind past lotus ponds and bonsai trees. The sound of temple bells lingers, their resonance stretching across the hillsides like a voice calling beyond time. Within these walls, silence becomes a sacred teacher. Those who sit here, gazing over the lake, find that their thoughts, once tangled and restless, begin to unravel into clarity. Dalat is not only a place for the eyes, it is a place for the soul. And nowhere is this more evident than here, where the heart meets serenity and the spirit remembers its quiet strength. As the afternoon wanes, the city's hills beckon once more. The pine forest of Golden Valley unfolds in endless rows, their trunks tall and slender, their crowns murmuring with the wind. Golden light filters through, scattering across the ground in a mosaic of shadow and flame. Walking here, you might feel like you have stepped into a cathedral not built by human hands, but by time, patience, and reverence. Each tree is a pillar, and each rustling branch is a hymn. The forest does not demand your worship, it simply offers itself. And in that offering, reverence arises naturally. And then comes the quiet of twilight. As the sun slips low, Dalat transforms again, as though donning a new garment for the evening. The fog returns, creeping along valleys and rising gently through the streets. Lamps flicker on, one by one, casting halos of gold in the mist. Vendors light small fires by their carts, the smell of roasted corn and sweet potatoes curling into the night. Here, the city is neither grand nor loud, intimate and inviting. A place where even strangers seem like companions, gathered around the warmth of food and laughter. In Dalat, day does not end, it softens, slows, and lingers like a song unwilling to reach its final note. And for the traveler, each moment carries with it not just beauty, but meaning. The lakes, the gardens, the mountains, and the markets are chapters in a book written not only in stone and water but in the hearts of those who journey here. This is Dalat, not a destination to be checked off, but a living poem to be read, line by line, until its rhythm becomes yours. Dalat does not reveal its beauty all at once. It is a city that opens slowly, layer by layer, like the petals of a flower reluctant to bloom before the morning sun. Those who wander its winding paths soon discover that each step offers something different. A new note in a symphony composed of nature, memory, and quiet longing. When dawn lifts its pale curtain, the city awakens not in haste, but in rhythm with the earth. The fog lingers across valleys, curling into alleys and gardens, as if reluctant to let go. In those early hours, the streets are nearly silent, broken only by the occasional bicycle bell or the echo of footsteps on cobblestones. Vendors begin to arrange their baskets, roses, lilies, daisies, all blooming as though determined to rival the city's beauty. Flowers are not decoration here, they are the very language of Dalat. They speak of tenderness, resilience, and the fleeting nature of joy. As the morning grows, travelers are drawn toward the highlands beyond the city. The roads wind like ribbons through pine forests, and a new panorama unfolds with each bend. Then, suddenly, the Valley of Golden Light appears. It is not golden from the soil, but from how sunlight spills across its rolling fields, painting grasses and trees in luminous shades of amber. To stand there is to feel yourself caught between earth and heaven, held by a fierce and tender beauty. This valley does not shout, it hums, glows, and resonates quietly with the traveler's soul, as though reminding them that light is a form of love. And in autumn, when wild sunflowers, known here as da kai, burst into bloom, the hillsides transform into seas of gold. Their blossoms are not fragile, they are bold, brimming with the vitality of survival. They thrive in rocky soil, in cool air, in the in-between spaces where little else would grow. Standing among them, one feels a sense of strength, as if these flowers lend their resilience to the human heart. They remind us that even in seasons of hardship, there is always color waiting to emerge, always light seeking a way to bloom. Beyond the golden slopes, the path leads to lavender gardens, where purple fields sway like waves in the mountain breeze. Their fragrance carries softly, filling the air with a calming yet intoxicating sweetness. Walk among them, and you feel time slow, your steps syncing with the rhythm of blossoms that do not rush to unfold. Lavender teaches patience, the art of lingering, the beauty of savoring. Here, love is not in grand gestures, it is in the simple act of being present, of allowing the heart to open as gently as a flower to the morning sun. But Dalat is not only flowers. The heart of the city beats strongest in its people and their traditions. Journey to the villages of the Kaho and Lach communities, and you will find a different kind of poetry, one woven through music, dance, and fire. As dusk settles, villagers gather in circles, the drumbeats rise, and the gong's resonance fills the night. The rhythm is primal, ancient, connecting earth, sky, and human spirit. Flames leap upward, painting faces in warm light, while voices chant songs passed down for centuries. Here, beauty is not quiet but celebratory, not solitary but communal. The fire does more than warm bodies, it warms history, ensuring that no tradition is ever truly lost. Taste, too, becomes part of this journey. The flavors of Dalat are as much a part of the landscape as its hills and lakes. A thin rice paper crisped over fire, layered with egg, scallions, and spices, becomes what many call the Vietnamese pizza, simple, but unforgettable. Hot pot simmering with chicken and lei leaves fills the air with spicy and comforting aroma. The perfect antidote to the mountain chill. Even something as modest as sticky corn, wrapped in banana leaves and sprinkled with sesame salt, carries within it the essence of home. Food here is not just sustenance. It is memory. It is warmth. It is the generosity of a land that gives and the hands that labor with devotion. When the sun begins its descent, painting the sky in hues of crimson and violet, Dalat takes on yet another form. The fog returns, heavier this time, cloaking the hills and lakes in mystery. Lights flicker in homes and cafes, glowing like lanterns in the mist. On quiet streets, the sound of guitars drifts from open windows, mingling with the fragrance of coffee freshly brewed. Coffee here is not hurried, not rushed through paper cups. It drips slowly, drop by drop, mirroring the city's insistence that life should be savored, not consumed. Sit in a small cafe overlooking the valley, and the city spreads out before you like a galaxy of lights, each one flickering, trembling, alive. It feels as though the stars have fallen from the heavens to rest upon the earth, reminding you that even in darkness, brilliance endures. Here, conversations become softer, silence is more meaningful. The city holds you in its quiet arms, teaching you that presence is a gift and that beauty can be found in the smallest gestures, a glance, a sigh, a shared moment of stillness. As night deepens, the traveler realizes Dalat is not a place to be consumed in a day or week. It is not a checklist of sights, but a tapestry of feelings. Each thread, a flower, a waterfall, a flame, or a sip of coffee, adds to a pattern that cannot be seen fully until you let yourself be immersed. Dalat is not about arriving. It is about belonging, about allowing your heart to breathe in rhythm with the mountains, the rivers, the fog, the stars, and so the journey continues. For Dalat always holds more secrets, revelations, and quiet truths waiting to be discovered. Night in Dalat does not simply arrive, it descends gently, like a shawl drawn across the shoulders of the city. Darkness here is never absolute. Instead, it is a soft darkness, woven with mist, pierced by lamplight, and warmed by the glow of human presence. Night is not an ending for the traveler wandering its streets but another beginning. Another layer of the city's timeless story. In the central market, life stirs as evening deepens. Stalls spring open, awnings lifted like birds' wings ready to take flight. Vendors call out softly, their voices mixing with the sizzle of oil and the hiss of steam. The air fills with aromas, grilled corn brushed with butter, sweet potatoes roasted until their skins crackle, skewers of meat sizzling over open flames. Here, food is more than sustenance, it is conversation. An invitation for strangers to pause and share the warmth of the same dish. Each bite carries flavor and memory, a taste of childhood, family, and belonging. The night market does not merely sell, it celebrates. Wool scarves, hand-woven by highland artisans, hang in cascades of color, each thread carrying the labor of hands and the patience of generations. Bags of dried fruit, strawberries, persimmons, Plums gleam under the light, sweetness preserved to remind the traveler that even fleeting seasons can be kept alive. Music floats between stalls, not loud, but enough to stir the air, to nudge the spirit into motion. In these moments, Dalat is not just a city to observe, it is a city to touch, taste, and hold against the heart. And yet, beyond the lively hum of the market, the quiet paths of Zon Hong Lake wait like a sanctuary. By day, the lake is a mirror reflecting sky and pine. By night, it becomes something else entirely, an altar to silence and reflection. Lamps line its shores, their light stretching long across the water. Trembling as though alive, couples stroll hand in hand, their laughter softened by the mist. Cyclists glide past, bells chiming faintly like distant stars. To walk here is to walk inside a dream, where time has loosened its grip, where even your footsteps seem less hurried and demanding. The lake does not speak loudly, but it listens, and in that listening, one begins hearing the hidden voice within their heart. Further into the night, Dalat unveils yet another face, the cafes tucked into quiet alleys, their windows glowing like lanterns in the fog. Inside, voices drop into gentle tones, as though the mist had entered and asked for silence. The aroma of coffee, thick, rich, lingering, fills every corner. Dalat's coffee is not about speed, it is about patience. The slow and deliberate drip mirrors the rhythm of the city itself, unhurried, contemplative, insistent that life is not a race but a moment to be savored. Sit at a wooden table, watch the steam curl upward, and you will understand, this is not simply a drink. It is a ritual, a pause, a reminder that beauty often lies not in what rushes past, but in what lingers. The night sky above the city tells its own story. The stars may not blaze as they do over deserts or seas, but here they glimmer faintly, veiled by mist, like secrets half revealed. On certain nights, when the fog parts, the Milky Way spreads across the heavens, and suddenly the traveler realizes, Dalat is not just a city of earth and stone. It is a city of sky, a bridge between the mortal and the infinite. Standing beneath those stars, one feels the same humility that ancient wanderers must have felt, the recognition that fragile and fleeting life is also luminous and immense. Yet Dalat's night is not only softness. In the hills beyond the city, the wind sharpens, and the sound of crickets weaves with the distant howl of dogs. Villages fall into more profound quiet, interrupted only by the occasional gong or the echo of a late-night song. In these darker corners, where the lamps do not reach, there is a primal beauty, raw and unpolished. It reminds the traveler that beneath the comforts of modernity, life is still bound to earth, to cycles older than memory, to forces that humble and ground the human soul. And then comes dawn again, almost imperceptible. Before light breaks, the mist is thickest, swallowing rooftops and pathways alike. Slowly, the darkness thins, a pale glow spreads across the horizon. Not sudden but gradual, like a secret whispered rather than shouted. The fog begins to lift, revealing once more the outlines of pine and mountain. Birds stir, their wings cutting through the heavy air. The city holds its breath in that fragile hour, poised between night and day, silence and sound, dream and waking. It is then that Dalat feels most like a poem, unfinished, open-ended, waiting for each traveler to write their own final line. Perhaps it will be in the taste of roasted corn by the market fire. Perhaps in the reflection of lamps upon Zon Hong Lake. Perhaps in the slow drip of coffee, or the sudden blaze of a sunrise across the pine forest. Whatever form it takes, the line remains etched not on paper, but in memory, spirit, and the unseen pages of the soul. Dalat is not only a city to visit, it is a city to carry within you. Its mist will follow you long after you leave, softening the edges of memory. Its flowers will bloom in unexpected moments, reminding you of resilience. Its lakes will ripple in your dreams, inviting you back to stillness. And its veiled yet present stars will whisper that beauty, like life itself, is never about permanence, it is about presence. Thus, night ends and begins again. Dalat does not change, it transforms. Endlessly, like water taking the shape of every vessel, like music shifting with every listener. To know it entirely is impossible. To love it deeply is inevitable. Dalat at sunrise is never the same twice. Some mornings arrive shrouded in mist so dense it feels like the earth is still dreaming. Other mornings break open with brilliance, as sunlight pours over the hillsides in golden cascades. Yet no matter the form, dawn here carries a truth. Beauty is not only what can be seen. It is what is felt, what stirs within, what lingers long after the eyes have closed. In the cool hush of morning, the city stirs to life quietly. Vendors arrange their stalls at the edge of the market, their baskets brimming with roses still wet with dew, hydrangeas glowing pale against the fog, and daisies as bright as little suns. These flowers are not just for display. They are a reminder that Dalat is, at its core, a city of blossoms, a place where beauty is cultivated, nurtured, and shared. As travelers wander past these stalls, they are not only greeted by colors and scents but by the generosity of a land that offers its finest treasures daily. Without reservation, beyond the markets, the hills beckon once more. Pine forests stretch endlessly, their needles whispering secrets to the wind. In the early light, the trees cast long shadows across the ground, forming a mosaic of gold and green. Walking among them, the traveler feels as though they have entered a sacred hall, a cathedral not built of stone but of living wood. Each step is accompanied by the murmur of leaves, a hymn older than memory, reminding every soul who listens that they are part of something vast, ancient, and enduring. The journey continues toward the tea hills, where the land ripples in waves of green as far as the eye can see. Workers move gracefully among the rows, baskets slung across their backs, hands plucking tender leaves with practiced ease. There is rhythm in their motion, a quiet dignity in their labor. The tea bushes, trimmed and ordered, resemble an ocean frozen in mid-wave, waiting for the breeze to set it rolling again. To stand here is to stand amid abundance, not the loud, ostentatious kind, but the steady, humble richness of a land that gives without arrogance. When the first sip of fresh tea touches the lips, its warmth spreads through the body and spirit, awakening something calm, balanced, and at peace. The road winds down from the hills to Dalat, where the highland air sharpens and the view widens into infinity. Standing on the ridge, clouds drift so low they brush the tops of trees, as if the heavens themselves wished to touch the earth. This is Dalat's gift, the ability to collapse the distance between sky and soil. Dream and reality. Here, the traveler is not merely an observer. They participate in a dialogue as old as the mountains, as boundless as the horizon. And then there is the lake, Dangkia Suoi Vang, the golden stream. Its waters stretch wide and quiet, mirroring every mood of the sky. At sunrise, it glimmers with fire. At midday, it rests in silver stillness. At twilight, it darkens into a velvet pool, holding the reflections of pine and star alike. To drift across its surface in a small boat is to surrender. To allow silence to become a companion. The water does not rush, it waits, teaching the traveler the art of patience, the beauty of stillness. Not far from the lake lies a village where culture breathes in every gesture, every sound. The people of the highlands keep alive traditions that refuse to fade with time. Their music is not written on paper but carried in memory, passed from voice to voice, from drum to gong. Each rhythm carries the heartbeat of centuries, echoing a community's resilience bound to both land and spirit. To sit among them, to listen as fire crackles and voices rise, is to understand that beauty is not only in landscapes but in human connection, in the stories we inherit and preserve. As the afternoon unfolds, Dalat reveals another wonder, the silk village. Here, looms clatter and threads shimmer, weaving fabrics that seem to capture the very light of the sun. Silkworms spin their delicate cocoons, and from these fragile beginnings emerge cloths of strength and elegance. Watching the process is to witness transformation, from the smallest thread into something vast and enduring. From fragility into resilience, the silk is more than material, it is a metaphor. It whispers that every life, no matter how fragile, holds the power to create beauty that endures within it. The traveler, moving between lakes, hills, and villages, realizes that Dalat's essence cannot be contained in a single image, memory, or day. It is a mosaic, each fragment unique yet inseparable from the whole. The flowers, the forests, the waterfalls, and the markets are not separate experiences, but interconnected notes in a single melody. And as the melody grows, the traveler discovers that the city is not changing. It is they themselves, shifting, softening, awakening. Evening falls again, and the city dresses in mist and light. The night market stirs with laughter, the scent of grilled delicacies, and shared meal warmth. Yet beyond the bustle lie quiet alleys, where cafes glow softly and time seems suspended. Here, the rhythm slows to match the drip of coffee, the flicker of a candle, the hush of whispered conversations. Dalat does not insist, it invites. It does not overwhelm, it opens. And so the day folds into night, and the night into another dawn. The traveler senses that what they are gathering is not merely memories but transformations. In Dalat, beauty is not just observed, it is absorbed, carried inward, until it reshapes the way one sees the world. Dalat, in its quiet persistence, has been teaching all along. Every flower, every lake, every pine tree has been whispering the same lesson. Beauty does not demand attention, it offers itself freely to those willing to notice. And so, as the journey nears its close, the traveler begins to sense that Dalat is not only a destination on the map. It is a mirror, reflecting not just landscapes, but the soul itself. At dawn, the city exhales once again. Mist curls across rooftops, softening every edge, blurring every line between earth and sky. This veil does not conceal, it reveals. For in the gentleness of the fog, the traveler understands that clarity is not always found in sharpness, but in softness. In these blurred lines, the heart loosens, and the spirit learns the art of surrender. Standing on a quiet hill, watching the first rays of sunlight bleed through clouds, one realizes, Dalat is not about grasping, it is about letting go. The journey leads back to the gardens, those endless fields of blossoms that first welcomed the traveler. Hydrangeas spread their blue faces wide, roses unfurl with quiet pride, and lavender sways gently in the morning breeze. Flowers do not worry about their purpose or chase after recognition. They bloom because blooming is their nature. And here, among them, the traveler feels something shift. The weight of expectation begins to fall away. There is no need to prove, no need to perform. To exist, like a flower, is enough. Moving deeper into the city, the traveler pauses by the waters of Tuyen Lake one last time. The surface is still, holding the reflection of clouds with perfect serenity. In that reflection, a truth rises. Peace is not found by fleeing chaos but by holding stillness within it. Just as the lake receives every wind and ripple, yet always returns to calm, the human spirit can learn to rest, remain steady, and embrace change without losing itself. The monastery nearby stands as a reminder of this truth. Its bell tolls slowly, each sound stretching across the hills like a ripple through eternity. The traveler does not need to understand every teaching carved into the temple walls. The sound itself is enough. In its vibration, the noise of the world fades. Silence becomes luminous, and in that silence, the traveler rediscovers the vastness within themselves, the part untouched by fear, unbound by time. As the final day unfolds, the traveler wanders again through pine forests, where sunlight pierces the canopy in slender beams. Dust particles drift through the light, glowing like golden embers suspended in the air. Each breath fills the lungs with resin, coolness, and clarity. Walking among the trees, the traveler feels not small, but connected, part of a living network stretching beyond sight or comprehension. The forest is not separate, it is kin. The realization rises slowly but firmly. To walk this earth is already to belong. Evening returns, and with it, the final gift. From the slopes of Langbiang, the city spreads below, shrouded once more in mist and light. Houses glitter like constellations scattered across valleys. The air is cool, but the heart burns with quiet fire. In this moment, there is nothing to chase, nothing to prove. The beauty is not only out there, it is within. Awakened by every step, every breath, every pause, the traveler closes their eyes, and the sounds of Dalat fold inward, the call of birds over water, the rustle of pines in the wind, the hum of a market at dusk, the whisper of flowers opening to the sun. These sounds weave together, not into noise but into music, an eternal song with no beginning or end. And in listening, the soul feels reborn. Freedom is here. It is not freedom in the sense of escape but freedom as presence. The freedom to be exactly where you are without needing permission or validation. Peace is here, too, not the silence of absence, but the fullness of stillness, where everything belongs, breathes, and rests. When the traveler finally departs, Dalat does not cling. It releases, as softly as the mist lifts from the valleys each morning. Yet what remains is not loss. It is renewal. Dalat has woven itself into memory, breath, and the unseen rhythms of the spirit. Its beauty is no longer external, it is now part of the traveler's being. Inseparable, eternal. The story does not end. It continues wherever the heart carries the mist, the flowers, the forests, the lakes. Dalat has become not just a city in Vietnam, but a landscape within, the landscape of gentleness, resilience, and infinite peace.